Hey everyone, welcome back. So a lot of you are really curious about information networks, and honestly, I am too. So today we're going to do a deep dive right into that.
Awesome.
And get this, our guide for this is, well, it's a pretty fascinating book. It's called Nexus by Yuval Noah Harari.
Oh, great choice.
And it goes like everywhere. I mean, it starts with Stone Age myths and goes all the way to the
Wow.
future of AI. Super ambitious.
Yeah, and it's really cool how Harari redefines information. It's not just about language for him. He's saying that basically any connection, anything that connects things can be information.
Hmm, I've never thought of it like that.
So think about like a bird singing.
Right.
That's information. Or how animals communicate with each other, even how the stars are arranged. It's all information that actually shapes their reality.
Wow. Yeah, it's a way bigger idea than just words on a page.
Totally.
So, okay, this is a big question, but if information shapes the world, then where should we even start?
Well, one of the most powerful examples is, well, it's storytelling.
Ooh, good one. Okay, explain that to me.
So Harari thinks that stories, from ancient myths to modern ideologies, all of that, it's how humans can, work together on a big scale.
Okay, yeah, that makes sense.
And the book has this great example from Greek mythology, the story of Phaethon.
Oh, right, right. Remind me about him again.
Okay, so he's the son of Helios, the sun god.
Right.
And Phaethon, he's young, he thinks he can do anything, and he tries to drive his dad's sun chariot.
Oh, no.
Yeah, bad idea. He totally can't handle it, and he ends up burning the earth, total chaos.
Leave.
It's a classic cautionary tale about what happens when power gets misused. Don't mess with stuff you don't understand.
The power corrupts and all that.
Exactly.
But it's amazing that, a story like that has been around for, centuries. And it's still shaping how people think about, well, responsibility and leadership.
Right.
Makes you wonder, what are the stories that are shaping us today?
Oh, absolutely. Think about all the political stuff we hear constantly, or even how companies try to sell us stuff, marketing. They're all stories meant to change how we think and what we do.
That's a good point. We're surrounded by information networks, all the time, even if we don't see them.
Totally.
And I mean, Harari's book goes through the whole history of these networks, starting with, people telling stories around a fire, then moving to written records, and finally, well, here we are in the digital age.
Yeah, and that's where things get even more, I don't know, complex.
Right.
And one of the really interesting points Harari makes is about this, he calls it the paper tiger effect.
The paper tiger.
It's just because something is written down, we think it's true. It has this authority, even if the information is totally wrong or really old.
Oh, I've totally done that.
Yeah.
I'll find some old instruction manual and I'll just follow it without even thinking, even if it's probably totally useless now.
Exactly. Or even worse, getting stuck in, bureaucratic stuff just because some rule is written down somewhere.
Oh, yeah, the worst.
It's a perfect example, right? And now think about computers and algorithms. It's all becoming even more powerful.
Because now it's not just about recording stuff.
No.
Machines are actually processing it and even making new information.
Right. Exactly. And that brings us to AI.
AI, right. A whole new world of challenges, I bet.
Yeah, and it's not just processing the old technologies, it's creating.
Whoa. Okay, so we've got information that shapes the world, stories with power, the rise of computers. Where do we go from here?
Well, this is where we got to ask some tough questions about the future of information, and how it affects everything. And trust me, you're going to want to hear this next part.
So tough questions about AI in the future, huh? What do we need to be thinking about?
Well, first, we got to look at the impact AI is already having. It's not just about storing and sifting through data anymore. AI is making new information, totally new insights, things we might never have thought of.
Yeah, that's kind of crazy when you really stop and think about it. It's like AI's adding a whole other dimension to, the information landscape.
Totally.
But you said there were challenges.
Oh, yeah, big ones.
What kind of challenges are we talking about?
One of the biggest is, how AI might change democracy. We talked about how information shapes reality and how strong stories can be.
Right.
But now imagine algorithms are the ones controlling that information, deciding what you see and hear based on your preferences, or even messing with your emotions so you make certain choices.
Well, okay, hold on. That sounds like straight out of a sci-fi movie, the dystopian kind.
Yeah, I know, right? But think about it. We're kind of seeing it already. Look at how social media, uses algorithms to tailor your feed. You can end up in what they call an echo chamber, where all you see are things that, like, back up what you already believe.
Oh, yeah, I've definitely noticed that. Like, you just get stuck seeing the same kind of stuff,
Yeah,
and you don't even realize it.
exactly.
But how does that threaten democracy?
Well, for a democracy to work, you need people to be informed, right? People who can talk about things and find common ground, even if they disagree. But if everyone's just stuck in their own bubble, those conversations get a lot harder.
It's like we're losing that shared reality. Like, how can we even function as a society if we can't agree on, basic facts?
Right, and it's not just democracies that need to worry. Harari also talks about how totalitarian regimes could use AI. Think about it. AI can make, like, super advanced surveillance systems.
Okay.
They can track everything you do, what you say, who you talk to. Imagine a world where algorithms are, like, constantly watching you, analyzing your every move. No privacy at all, not even freedom to think your own thoughts.
That's a bit terrifying, honestly. It's like Big Brother, but on a whole other level.
Yeah, no kidding. And the scary thing is, it's already happening in some places. AI is being used to, like, silence people who disagree and just control everyone. But here's the thing, it's not all doom and gloom. Harari makes it clear. We still have a choice in how we shape AI.
So what can we do? How do we make sure AI is used for, good stuff and not for, well, all the scary stuff we just talked about?
That is the million-dollar question, and it's something we all need to be talking about, like, as a society. We have to understand the risks, but we can't ignore the potential benefits either.
It's about finding that balance, right?
Mm.
Using the power of AI, but still protecting, human values and freedoms.
Exactly. We need to develop, like, ethical guidelines for how AI is made and how it's used. We need transparency so we know what's going on, and accountability so people are responsible for what AI does. And human oversight, real people making sure things don't go off the rails.
Yeah, we can't just let algorithms make all the decisions.
Right. And we need to teach people about AI, like everyone, not just the tech people. We need future generations to understand what AI is and what it can do so they can make smart choices about its role in their lives.
So it's about having these open conversations about the future we want, right? Like, do you
Yeah.
want AI controlling us, manipulating us, or do we want it to help us solve problems, make things better?
Exactly. It's a choice we have to make, and we have to make it together.
And we have to make it now. The choices we make today will determine what happens in the future. It's like Harari saying, hey, this isn't just happening to us. We have the power to shape this technological revolution.
Exactly. And that brings us back to, like, one of the main messages of the book. Information networks are really powerful tools. They can be used for good or for bad. It's up to us to choose which path we take.
It's pretty amazing to think about how far we've come. I mean, we started with telling stories around a fire, and now, like, algorithms are shaping, global events. It's mind-blowing.
It really is. It's a huge journey. But what I find fascinating is that even with all this tech, all this advancement, humans, we still need to connect to share stories. That hasn't changed.
It's true. Even in this, like, digital age, we're still trying to figure things out, find meaning, find our place. We're, like, wired for stories, I guess.
And that actually brings up a really interesting point that kind of builds on what we've been talking about. How we deal with AI in the future, it might actually depend on the stories we tell ourselves.
Wait, news stories? What do you mean?
Well, the stories we tell ourselves about technology, about progress, about how we interact with AI, those stories, they'll shape how we actually use these tools.
So instead of being afraid of AI, like it's some big scary thing that's going to take over, we need to find ways to, like, include it in our stories, but in a positive way.
Yeah, exactly. We need stories that show, collaboration, that show AI as a partner in solving problems. Stories that, like, celebrate human ingenuity and creativity alongside all the technological advancements.
So it's like we need to change the narrative.
Yeah,
Instead of fear and control, it's about, like, empowerment and possibility.
I couldn't have said it better myself. But these stories, they can't just be like feel-good stories.
Yeah.
They need to actually deal with the real issues, the ethical questions that AI brings up.
You mean things like bias in algorithms, or what happens to jobs when AI takes over? And, like, how do we make sure these systems are transparent, that people are held accountable?
Exactly. We need stories that acknowledge the tough stuff, but also inspire us to find solutions.
And those stories need to reach everyone, not just, like, the techie people.
Absolutely. We gotta, like, democratize this whole conversation about AI, make it so everyone understands it, can relate to it, no matter who they are or what they do.
Yeah, because in the end, it's not really about the technology itself. It's about how we use it as a society.
Right. And in the stories we tell, they'll have a huge impact on those choices.
It's a good reminder that we're not just, passively watching technology happen. We're actually creating the future.
And that future is still being written.
So I guess the question is, what kind of story do you want to be part of? What kind of future do you want to help create?
Yeah, those are the questions we should all be asking ourselves. They're the questions that will guide us as we explore all this new territory, this world of AI, and how it's going to change everything.
Wow, that's a lot to think about. We've covered so much today, from like ancient myths to the complexities of AI. I mean, we really went deep on the evolution of information networks, all the challenges, the possibilities, and how important it is to shape the narrative around these powerful tools.
Totally agree. And I really hope this deep dive has made you curious to learn more, to dig deeper. And if you're looking for a great place to start, I highly recommend Harari's book, Nexus. It's a really fascinating read that will definitely make you rethink some things, see the world in a new way.
And who knows, maybe it'll even inspire you to tell your own story, a story that helps create a better, more hopeful future for all of us. So until next time, keep exploring, keep questioning, and keep diving deep.